back here at the Wanamaker Tulsa Arms Show. Jim Sapika, director of the National Firearms Museum, has joined me. Jim, thanks so much for having us out. Again, we did this, it wasn't last year, it's every 6 months as a show, and you invited us out to bring some cameras out here, and we had so much fun. We got together on this thing, and let's do it again.
It's way cool, world's largest gun show. I haven't missed this show for I think 20 years, and now that we can do this here, it's just so much the better.
And who do we have, and what do we have here, Jim?
Well, Joseph brought us in a Colt Lightning rifle. Rifle that has a lot of association with the Old West, a very colorful example, well used but very honest. It is a slide action rifle. Everybody thinks of the lever action Winchesters when they think about the old cowboy gun. But Colt introduced this slide action. Everybody who's got a pump shotgun is going to be familiar with how it works. You just and it's stiff, you just pump it, we can see it's unloaded, and then you just slide the pump forward and it's ready to be fired, and you can see the hammer drop when you fire it, and then you repeat it. You've got a long magazine tube here, nice high capacity on this. Colt began manufacturing these in 1884. And 3 years later, they added a smaller model and a larger model. Now this medium frame, the first model they introduced, they made in 3 calibers. They made it in 32, 20, 38, 40, and 44, 40. And these were the same calibers that they were manufacturing their single action army in. They were also the calibers that Winchester was manufacturing their Model 1873 lever action rifle in. So the concept was that out where ammunition supply might be short on the American Western frontier, you could have a rifle and a revolver that took the same cartridge, and it cut down on your ammunition supply problems. The smaller frame version of this was a little .22 rifle, and the larger version handled the big, heavy, big game cartridges. They made the most of these, probably about 90,000. And it's a very desirable gun, very colorful. Kind of interesting story on the. That's a beautiful decoration. I want to talk about that in just a little bit.
That's fun, yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. But Colt was manufacturing this. Colt came up with a lever action rifle too, the Colt Burgess. And Winchester. Yeah, Colt did. Winchester had kind of had the lever action rifle market. Colt had kind of had the revolver market. And Colt was looking over there and say, hey, those Winchesters are going to do pretty good. Let's put out a lever action rifle. Now the story is, I don't know if it's true or not, but the story is that Winchester showed up at Colt offices with a Winchester revolver. And they said, now, if you want to be in the lever action rifle market, this revolver market looks pretty good to us. Do you really want to manufacture that?
Wow.
So Colt only made about 6,000 of those.
They got out of that business pretty fast.
Yeah, but they stayed in the slide action market and did pretty good on it.
So how long have you had this?
It was my grandfather's. It's been in my family for, at least 50, 60 years. So.
Wow. Once again, it's an intrinsic value you can't put on something when it's a firearm that your grandfather owned.
And it's third generation here in Oklahoma too.
Yeah, that's correct.
Which is very cool. And your grandfather had an interesting occupation.
He did. He was a game warden for the Oklahoma Wildlife Federation, and he acquired this gun through that. And the story has it that it was Belle Starr's, one of her rifles. I know that the Oklahoma Wildlife Federation, they actually bought one of their old properties, and that's how he came across this gun. He would tell us stories about it, but he never actually said exactly where he got the gun, and unfortunately he passed last year. So I just kind of wanted to come in and get a little bit of a little bit more story behind it. So.
Yeah, and John, like you were saying, it has this very colorful inlay decoration, kind of the simple decoration that you see on frontier used arms, Indian used arms, but very colorful, really evoke the era you're talking about, and certainly consistent with the gun's history, the gun's usage. Now, when you have attribution to a famous person like Belle Starr, the famous lady outlaw, it always adds interest to a gun.
Sure does.
Of course, when you look at attribution, you have to look at the documentation. And what Joseph has is this story that's been passed down in his family. I would encourage you to write down what is known about the gun, to write the serial number, and just be very straightforward about it. Here's the family legend that's gone down with it. Because at some point, these great stories get separated from this gun. And you know, when people talk about buying historically attributed guns, what the advice always is to a collector is buy the gun, don't buy the story. Well, this gun as a colorful, well-used, but all original Colt Lightning rifle, I think probably has a value in the $1,000 to $2,000 range there. They're quite desirable. It's very hard to find any of them for under $1,000, so I think this pushes that $2,000 and maybe beyond. I don't know that the Bell Star story adds a lot of value, but boy, I think it adds interest to it. And it's certainly
grandfather's gun for you.
It's
great.
You know, to me it does. I think it's a fascinating gun, colorful, out of the right place, out of a family for 3 generations, and just really evocative of the era. So it's a very cool gun. I love seeing it.
Thanks for bringing it out, and Jim, thanks for being with us here in Tulsa for Curator's Corner.
Always fun.